Hey everyone, we are back for another exciting rehearsal this week, and we know everyone is going back to school. We will find out what made Trevor say,
really resilient students, really resilient band kids. I mean, because they're really resilient human beings. Just because.
and why Whitney said,
the kids that were in my first middle school guard are like now getting into sophomore, freshman, junior year, and it's like you can really tell a difference.
All this and more. So get out on the field, and we will see you back on the sidelines for this week's episode of On a Water Break.
Let's go. Set it up.
Top of the show.
Form, check form. Cover down.
Do it again.
Run it back. And we'll see you at the show.
Welcome to another episode of On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk about everything you and your friends are talking about at rehearsal on a water break. I'm Jackie Brown. Labor Day is over, and now the real labor begins. It's the beginning of the fall marching band season. All across the country, high school and college bands are beginning their season, having their first football games, and we will soon be beginning that competition season, both big and small. So let's see who's on the sideline. Hey, Steven.
Hello, Jackie. Having a tough time hearing you because my ears are still ringing from band camp, but it's been fun. I'm excited to talk to you tonight.
You look a lot more perky this week than you were last week after those band camp hours.
Yeah, I was dead. I came back to life. You've caught the second coming of me, but I died, and I'm back.
Well, and speaking from coming back from the dead, we have Trevor. Oh my gosh, hello.
Hey Jackie, I'm just wiping the sweat away. And we learned a whole bunch of drill sets in our band camp that just wrapped up, stretching out my muscles, getting back into the normal school season that just started a few days ago, and it's great to be back speaking with all of you on a water break. So excited to talk to you here in a second.
Well,
I'm so excited that you're here. I feel like I haven't gotten to talk to you in months.
Oh man,
It's
it's like MIA. We gotta have like a Trevor with the cartoon character now run across the screen during a preview, like on the milk carton. So you got
on the milk carton, missing.
Where have you been, Trevor? Yeah.
Have you seen this man? Last spotted at Western Carolina University.
I'm sure we can get some kind of graphic set up. It's good to see you guys. I miss you.
There may be more joining us as we go, and just saying, if any of our staff are late, they need to bring us some Starbucks because I could use that pick me up. This is going to be a great panel to have this discussion, though, because we are all from different sides of the activity and different areas of the country. So we're back to school, and how are you guys feeling about the start of your season?
I feel pretty good. We just put out like show differently this year at my high school than we normally do. So we're trying to push as far ahead visually, essentially, as quickly as we can. So music still coming together. We're still fleshing things out. I have bass drummers learning drill sets that are like, they have no clue what's happening. They've never even played the music that's coming here.
Oh, wow.
But we're getting so much of the show done so quickly that I think they're going to have such a long time to actually be able to focus in and perfect what they're doing, that I kind of really like this like new method we've been trying. How far along did you guys get?
Yeah, we do our show in 4 movement, kind of stages. And so the objective here for us at WCU is always to learn our pregame show, be able to march in and play it. We check that box, and to also learn the opening movement of our show, be able to march and play it and to premiere it at the first football game. Our opener is a little bit longer than a typical college band opener. It's a little bit over 3 minutes of music and drill, and it's about 36, 38 pages of drill. So it's pretty challenging, but our students have handled it well. We caught a really good break, Stephen, with like the weather. It's kind of been hot just consistently throughout the South, as you guys can probably attest to. But
Yeah, I was actually pretty close to you recently. How close is Western Carolina to Asheville?
1 hour away, exactly. Yeah,
I was just down there, and it's gorgeous. I believe it. If you've had weather like the last weekend all summer long,
yeah.
it's awesome.
It's been really great. So we've caught some good luck there, and yeah, now we're just continuing to push forward. The students are doing a really great job, and I'm super excited for the fall marching band season for sure.
I kind of
Yeah, so
feel
you
like
guys
I
here,
kind
go
of
ahead,
I kind
Jackie.
of feel like my kids are like the babies compared to everybody's talking about their big schools and their big band camps, and I'm like my little color guard of 7 people. uh, but honestly, this is probably going to be the best season that they have had in a really long time. We only have 2 complete rookies this year, and even though they're technically rookies, they're like both of them have some experience with spinning, like prior to joining our team. So we've got a really experienced crew for our little small town small town color guard, small town marching band. I'm really excited to see. They picked up the choreography so fast, and their instructor is like over there. Malia is cleaning it, and I know she's just going to make them look sharp. So I'm pretty excited to see how it looks. They actually had their first show last Friday, which will be like 2 Fridays ago by the time this comes out. But yeah, they had their first football game, and their costumes aren't even in yet. So we got to get on that.
Wow. That's awesome. I feel like I was not competing or performing until like well into September when I was in high school. It feels like you guys are just hitting the ground running.
We start school way too early here.
I was
Oh, okay.
Like
I was talking
mid-August.
to I was talking to a friend about that the other day. How it seems like these competitions are getting closer and kind of starting in the beginning, middle part of September. I think
Yeah.
when most of us was on this interview, like we weren't used to starting contests until that first week of October. But it seems to be
October,
getting
for
closer
sure.
and closer and closer, and into September. It must be very stressful for the current high school band directors out there. So we encourage you just to hang in there and do the best you can, and more blessings to every one of you who are listening here. And congratulations.
So what was some of your guys' biggest challenges at band camp this year?
I can go ahead and jump off. I think tacking on to what we were saying, it's been difficult memorizing when we just go so quick. We're trying to
Mhm.
really just move fast and learn a lot. And I think it kind of it makes it tough for the kids to learn the details of of all the different music, all the different movements. Our kids do a really great job, but we're gonna have to spend time really honing in and perfecting and like filling in the details, especially musically, on things that we've just been like getting out there as quick as we can. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think just getting. We know we have an expectation of they have to get the music under their fingers quickly because a visual program is such a challenge. So um, they're very strong visual performers this year, especially our new folks who are joining the band program. But the musical expectations of getting those notes under their fingers very quickly has been a little bit of a challenge. It's one that they're trying to rise to, but
Hmm.
it's always a daunting task to see that many notes on the page and
Yeah.
realize you have to move and do it too. It's not just band; it's marching band. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I have to imagine at the collegiate level too, like for many of these kids, it's going to be way harder music than they're accustomed to playing. I would think at least.
Yeah,
What?
for the majority, yeah, I would say that's a really accurate statement.
Yeah,
That
they have to
transition.
learn more, faster, and more difficult than they're accustomed to,
And a
especially if
lot of
you're
their
a rookie.
movement too. Like a lot of the movement isn't it's like so you learn your marching basics, but you're not just marching anymore. Like there's so much
Hmm.
I know especially with us, we're like really like focusing on those body visuals, and all of the movement, the supportive work that you have to do underneath with your basics in order to get those movements to be fluid, to get those movements to be together. And with the color guard, I always do some dance training with them, but their
Mm-hmm.
show is a lot more heavily dance this year than it has been, I feel like, the last few years. And we have a whole situation where we put the flags down and they dance on top of these benches at one point. So it's like they're doing all that, and then the band is like holding their horns down or putting their horns down and like basically dancing essentially on the field, and it's just
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, to just kind of piggyback on that, Jackie. Like, I think another challenge would be like having them be proactive about their like self care of like their bodies, like right.
Yes.
Make sure that they hydrate,
Yes.
making sure that they're
Mm-hmm.
stretching, making sure they're eating like 3 balanced meals, during that band camp, and not just giving any of those things away. Like how important it is to take care of your bodies doing this rigorous like activity, right? One thing that we do, like as a band program, we invite Marching Health in. Are you familiar with Marching Health? Yeah,
Yes, I love Elliot.
yeah. So
Dr. Cleveland.
Dr. Elliot Cleveland, who's amazing. If you ever heard of Marching Health, like look them up, folks. Invite them to your school. They do like Zoom, they do Zoom classes, and they actually come to your place live. Great opportunity to make sure that your band is in shape. They have a great physical education program, visual program to make sure that your students' bodies are well taken care of throughout the season. So we're in that program. So that's very helpful for my students to be able to be engaged in that throughout the entire season. But they have to constantly be reminded to, take care of their bodies. So that is one of the kind of major challenges, making sure that they're physically able to do the thing. So yeah.
And I think it's a little difficult sometimes for college students too, because many of them are not interested in taking good care of their bodies. They're going to do everything but that.
Never.
No.
If they're anything like me or my group of friends, we'll do everything except take care of our bodies from the ages to 18 to 22. So you got to definitely preach the good word there. I actually, since you were talking about programs doing so much dance, I would love to call our producer Jeremy out of the dark depths of mute, because our high school that we teach together actually, I think we've prioritized visual for several years before I've even gotten here, and I can tell that our students, even though they're just high school students, are very strong visually, many more so than they are musically. Even, not to knock them, they're just very good dancers and movers. Jeremy, how did you build that sort of a program, and like maybe what's your advice to other band directors?
Well, thank you. That's a lovely little compliment there, coming from a world-class drummer. Just just aging out and all of that kind of stuff. No, I mean, it's a culture that got built there, and the band director and I were even talking that one of the challenges we didn't have this year, talking about maybe leading into the next thing we were talking about being surprised by, is that our kids are finally all completely 100% buy into what is being asked of them. It takes 3 or 4 years to get rid of that last kid that was doing it that old way, and sort of transitioning over. So it's a challenge, of course. But with this year being like such a show that I knew exactly what it was going to be, it made the kids just be able to buy into it so quickly, and they honestly do move a lot of them better than even the color guard does. Like, if we're being honest, they really do. So, and I mean, that's not the color guard.
A large number of them move better than people that I knew in DCA, or sometimes even DCI, as far as drummers go. I just think that, especially on the East Coast where we're from, it's like uncommon to have a culture of good visual movement if you're not in the color guard. And it's super weird to me, too, that you do have to build it up, or it's possible to even build it up over multiple years, because I can totally see how you get one kid who is a freshman to be good over the length of several years. But the weirder part is that once you get and you build those good upperclassmen, the freshmen that come in just get it.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, they don't learn a bad habit. Most of the time, they can just get up to the level. Some of the
freshmen
freshmen
are
that we
far
got,
superior. The
they're
freshmen are far
better.
superior.
Many of the freshmen are better than the seniors.
Way. But there's also, I mean, to be fair to the generation that we're now teaching,
Mhm.
they really just embrace everything about everything. They're just it's just a very open generation to teach. There isn't like, oh, this is too masculine or this is too feminine or this is
Right.
too, like, it just is, and they just do it and they just don't care. Like, it's just not a care in the world.
I
So
love that so much.
yeah, it's really amazing. It's really amazing. All right, I'll jump out. Go ahead.
I had to stop us right now and ask, because Whitney is here, did you bring us Starbucks?
Whitney.
I didn't have time. No, I was trying to get back as soon as possible. So no, I skipped all of the fast food places. It was hard.
A likely story.
So we're talking about band camp, since you're just jumping in on the conversation. And our next question is, what is something that has surprised you at your band camp this year?
Oh gosh. I don't know. I mean, I kind of am with you guys. You were just talking about like how the freshmen are pretty awesome. I'm now starting to see some, I guess, increase of like knowledge and skill level because of my middle school guard. Like the kids that I started, like when I started at Round Rock, the kids that were in my first middle school guard are like now getting into sophomore, freshman, junior year, and it's like you can really tell a difference. And
That's
had
awesome.
have a handful of freshmen that are honestly some of my best kids.
Aww.
Like, because they were in the middle school guard and they did it for a few years. And we had we also have a JV band that's not super popular everywhere, but we're like, I think we're the only one in Central Texas that has a JV band. And last year, for the first time, we had a JV guard with that as well, which was like an insane amount of work for me, but it was good. And it was like mostly middle school kids. So I had middle school kids doing marching band. And so now that they're in high school, they're awesome. And I have like a bunch of awesome 8th graders too that have like 4 or 5 seasons of color guard already as 8th graders. So I'm not really worried about the future, just trying to get more kids, but band camp was hot. I think we just had the first 2 days where we didn't surpass 100 degrees.
Oh,
And
wow.
it felt like fall. Like it was like 97 and we were like, hallelujah. Like it was.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's been crazy hot.
Real quick before we get moving on with it, do you guys is there like overlap between the varsity and the JV band? Because like that just sounds like you would need so many students to be able to like prop up 2 good bands.
We do have a lot of kids. That's why I think they started the JV band like 10 or so years ago. There's like, I think there's like 90 kids in the JV band this year, and we're not doing the JV color guard this year. But yeah, there's about, I think around 80, 90 in the JV band, and the varsity's like 250 or something.
Wow.
Like we have a lot of kids, but the school is huge. We have like 3,600 kids in the school or something, maybe closer to 3,900. So like it's a big school, and we have a lot of feeders. So yeah.
I'm used to schools of like 400 kids in the whole school. That band program would be my entire school.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I only graduated with like 188, so I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they at the football games they switch off. So like the next 2 weeks the JV band is going to perform at halftime, and then so we alternate, which there's give and take to that, like to give the high schoolers a little bit of a break. They don't have to perform at every single game. We also go to all the away games too. So we do a lot of football. Texas. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, one of the biggest surprises that we've kind of experienced here with the college band that I'm at, and I've talked to some of my other college band friends around the country, whether it's at Washington State or LSU or the University of Texas, El Paso, and they've all kind of given me the same feedback that I'm kind of experiencing here at Western, that the class of 2027 graduating class, incoming freshman class this year, was supposed to be smaller and
Right.
was supposed to be their talents were supposed to be quote unquote less than, because they have experienced the COVID shutdown the most. Like dating
Hmm.
Mm,
back
yeah.
the last few years, they felt it the hardest. As we all know on this call, like most programs across the country, like saw like a drop off, like in participation among their membership when COVID hit, anywhere from like 18 to 30%. Like people
Wow.
just those programs were just disappearing. So that means the kids who are coming into this year's freshman class of 2027, those are the kids who really stuck with it through thick and thin, with not a lot of training, with just Zoom lessons, for a couple years. And, how talented were they going to actually be? Like, how socially engaging were they going to be to other students? Because they had a couple years taken away from them where they got to quote unquote be real band students. You know how
Right.
all our band kids are. So it's really a surprise, to me and to all my other friends, that we saw enrollment actually increase, like at some of these bigger and medium sized institutions. That the talent level of these students, it wasn't a drop off from the last two previous classes. So that was very encouraging. So kudos to you students who hung in there, class of 2027, and really showed up ready to work at your college band programs, because I'm talking to my college band friends and we really noticed. So congratulations, good job to the band directors who really hung in there and kept their programs together, because the students of this class really showed up. So bravo.
And I will tell you, Trevor, it's so interesting that you say that, being the university, and ask your friends or whatever. I teach a university here in southeastern Pennsylvania, a very small university, but has a decent marching band. I call it like the best little band in, the mid-Atlantic, because it's a small school, but we have really great instructors and a really great staff. So we gather really dedicated kids to band. They just happen to be like the engineers and the nurses. That's the
Right.
school, right? So it's all engineers and nurses that want to be in band. So, but I have also seen an increase in my numbers in the band.
Awesome.
It's not a, I mean, it's a big deal that we're going from 6 in the color guard to 9. Like, I've been at 6 in the color guard for a while for this tiny little school, and now we're at 9 plus a featured twirler. It's
That's
like
a huge
crazy.
difference.
It's a huge difference. We can have a rifle line. Like, it's so great. And the talent is there. The kids are there. Like, they're there. They're learning. They're ready. They're like, okay, I get it. And you're right. I can see how people would go, yes, these kids are the, kind of the COVID kids, like, missed out on a couple of things and this, that, and the other. And it may take a minute or two for them to get out of their shell. But that's what college band is all about, is getting out of your shell. Like, that is what college is finding yourself. Like, if you can't do it there, like, where else you gonna do it? You know what I mean? Like, it really is. It really is.
Really resilient students, really resilient band kids. I mean, because they're really resilient human beings, just because they're always put in a position where they have to be. So they have
Hmm.
had that training. So it's good to see that they're really they fought back and they're really are thriving, incoming freshmen. So it's exciting.
I
Okay.
think we saw the same thing happen in drum corps this summer too. Like, all the different shows were so good. Meanwhile, I was kind of expecting that for a while we'd have to build drum corps back up, and then like right away this year it was like, oh, everyone's good and all the shows are good. It's nice. I wasn't expecting that coming out of the pandemic.
Nice.
Let's get on to our gush and goes for the week. Steven, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, sure. So I am gushing and going about the fact that I went to the first wedding of people from my age out baseline. Out of the
Oh.
6 of us, one of us have now gotten married, which is just like it feels weird. I feel too grown. We all seem so adult like now, 5 years removed from drum corps. Um, so that's what's up for me. It's weird. Yeah, rite of passage. I see Jeremy put in the chat, and I agree. It feels like it's good. I look forward to attending all of the weddings of my bass drummers. Hopefully, we all
Shout out to
get
the
married.
bass drummers and make sure everyone invites each other to their weddings.
I'd be worried
Whitney, what
about one of my buddies, though. If my
oh,
buddy Alec, I might need someone from the audience to help him out because I don't know if we're going to be able to get to a wedding for him. If anybody wants to help him out, Alec, I hope you listen. You need help. I would like to attend 6 weddings, so.
Whitney, what do you want to gush about this week?
Is it okay if mine's not super happy? Is that all right?
It's whatever you want. It's all about you.
Well, I know I had posted in the chat that I lost a friend, but she was really important to a lot of people in the color guard community. And she was a huge supporter and basically mom to the Zydeco family. And Zydeco hasn't been out now for this coming Winter Guard season will be 10 years that they've taken off. But she was just a wonderful human, and she spent like the last month and a half in the ICU, and just kind of was struggling the past month or so. So I just want to like send some positive energy out to her family, and yeah, she was super important to a lot of people, and just a wonderful, caring, giving, humble human, and she's going to be greatly missed. So her name is Patsy Simmons. She I don't know how much they're really like talking about it yet. I haven't seen a lot of posts on Facebook or anything yet. I think they were just kind of waiting for the family to like do their announcements and stuff first. But I think by the time this comes out, we'll be all right. But yeah, Patsy Simmons, super awesome human. And I just want to gush about how awesome she was as a human. And yeah.
Our community is so small. Like, just losing somebody like that is just, it's heart-wrenching. No matter, even if like, you don't know them, you know that you know somebody who's like that, and like that's just my heart goes out to you guys. Trevor, what do you want to gush about this week?
I want to gush about the end of the summer marching band season, aka drum corps. Congratulating all the amazing drum corps from World and Open Class, and even the all age corps are wrapping up right now with their seasons. Congratulations to the members, the staff, the administrators, the support teams for getting back out there, showing a level of consistency and hard work and dedication, and putting out some great products like Steven just talked about earlier. It was a really great season, and I got the chance to see a lot of shows both on the flow marching and live in person, and it was just a really great experience. And it was a great DCI season. So congratulations! I'm gushing over all of you and giving you all a great big pat on the back.
We'll have Trish giving us the DCA dish later on in the show, too. So she's going to have a nice recap. So anybody who wants to catch up on that, make sure you stay tuned. I want to gush this week because we have something amazing going on in our small little town here coming up in April. It's called Buck Nelson Days, and it's the very first year we're doing this. It's kind of like... it's for the solar eclipse. It's happening on the solar eclipse on April 8th. And it's also kind of like a UFO convention sort of thing. I bring it up. I know. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. And like, we have a really small town. So like lots of small town vibes, like the downtown storefronts and stuff like that. There's going to be a parade. I bring it up though, because Spintronics is putting together a color guard. And I want to invite any of our listeners who have any experience doing color guard and would like to come be a part of our parade. It is so short. It's like we drove it, and I think it's 1.2 miles. It's not a very long parade, but it's going to be huge. The they're predicting right now between the eclipse chasers and the UFO chasers, we're going to have upwards of 50,000 people in our tiny, tiny little town. So
What?
yeah, it's going to be a giant event. And so we're putting together this guard. If you're interested in doing, being a part of this, go to spintronicsguard.org. If you have any experience, if you have any experience in spinning a flag, then sign up on our website, because it's gonna be such a cool thing. Flags will be provided. We're doing choreography by video. We'll have rehearsal the day of the parade, and it's just gonna be really fun. And yeah, Jeremy, if you want to come produce this parade, I know the parade organizers, so we can talk.
Can we dress like an alien with the flag,
Yes,
or like a
yes. In
rifle?
fact, there's going to be a contest that day, like a costume contest. There's so much stuff. There's like an art show contest. There's a costume contest. There is someone from our town. He's passed away now, but his name's Buck Nelson, and we're kind of celebrating him. He was abducted by aliens. I want to say it was in like the 50s. And so they're putting this big thing on to like celebrate his, like, he's published a book, and like all of these things have happened, and like he is celebrated at other UFO conventions as like someone who legitimately got abducted. So anyway, it's a really cool thing. Like I said, spintronicsguard.org, under the events tab. If you want to come and spin, it's it's going to take place on April 8th. We're not charging anybody. You can buy a flag if you want to buy one of the flags to take home. They're beautiful. We got them from Guard Closet, and they have an eclipse design on them. So anyway, let's get back to rehearsal.
Sounds like a probing experience.
Oh boy. Well, I think there's some more gravy to a grave here. If they're having a UFO costume party, they just want the actual UFOs to be able to walk out, and you won't know it's them.
You'll never know. All right, guys, let's get back to rehearsal. We'll be back in just a bit, and we'll have all of your news at that time.
Hey, this is Christine Ream.
And Chris Green.
Guard Closet was founded as a consignment business in 2000. Since then, it has grown to include winter guard, band, percussion, and other genres.
We can help you with custom flag and costuming designs.
Our consignment inventory has plenty of great looks for your color guard, drumline, and marching band.
Pay it forward. When you purchase consignment, you help other programs. Last year, we sold over 400 sets of consignments and returned over $125,000 in payments to our consigners for their sales.
Additionally, Guard Closet offers custom and pre-designed costumes, flags, floors, and formal wear, full or partial show writing, educational programming, and other services.
Max out your rehearsal time and set up a microsite for easy student ordering for shoes, gloves, and other equipment.
The Guard Closet team is here to help you get everything you want and need for your season. Check us out at guardcloset.com and follow us on social media.
Now,
that was a great rehearsal chunk. We have a new little fun thing to get to know our hosts a bit more. And Whitney and Trevor, I don't think either of you have been subject to this one yet. So let me know. Trevor, let's start with you. What part of the marching band show are you?
That's a great question. I'm the band kid who you catch on a close-up, who is in the most energetic, passionate part of the show, who just has a lot of emotion on their face. I'm like, there may be a couple of tears, there may be some yelling from excitement at the crowd for their appreciation for standing on their feet, but I'm like that last action shot that they zoom in on, and it's like super emotional because I'm this super emotional person. So that's me. I'm that band kid in the band show.
Nice. That's like the best part of being in the band show.
Yes. Absolutely. I love it. That's perfect. Whitney, what about you?
I think I'm the flag feature. I don't know which one, but maybe like the end of the opener flag feature. Just really like flag, and I like a good flag feature, and I feel like people are kind of not doing them as much and as frequently anymore. So I'm gonna be the flag feature. That's my final answer.
Love that. And yes, that is excellent. And I can totally see that with you too. Now let's go on to the news. First up, we have Trish with the final DCA dish for this season.
Hi, everyone. This is Trish with the DCA Dish. Well, the 2023 DCA season and DCA as we know it officially came to a close this past weekend in Rochester, New York. Congrats to the Reading Buccaneers for their undefeated world-class title, the Connecticut Hurricanes for their open class title, and Rogues Hollow Regiment for winning A-class. DCI's outgoing executive director, Dan Atchison, was on hand to celebrate the transition to DCI All Age. It still remains to be seen how this will all work. Many questions still need answers. What will become of the Alumni Spectacular? Will there be divisions? However, there still seems to be tons of excitement. Some other notes, a classy touch by the Hawthorne Caballeros for putting the Corps in traditional uniforms for awards. I was glad to see the White Sabres take Best Guard and Open, as they were one of my favorites all season. Also, congrats to Bush's Battery on the Showmanship Award. I remember back to the first show in Connecticut when they put on a show in the lot. Thanks so much for following DCA Dish all season, and I can't wait to be back next year with DCI All Age Dish.
Yeah, so this weekend marks the very last true DCA finals, ladies and gentlemen. And it usually takes place, of course, on Labor Day weekend. But next year it's going to turn into or transition to the DCA All Age weekend. Basically, if you don't know, DCI and DCA are combining, they're merging, creating this great partnership. But this weekend marks the last true DCA finals on Labor Day weekend. It's been around for such a long time. It's been happening on Labor Day weekend since, get this, 1967.
Oh my
That's a
gosh.
long time. That's a lot of history, right? A lot of you may have some experiences with loving the DCA shows, going to DCA shows yourself, participating in DCA shows as a performer, a staff member, or support staff. So thank you to all those folks. And it's great that we have this new relationship between DCI and DCA to turning into DCA All Age. So make sure you show some love, show some acknowledgement for your DCA friends this weekend, and go out and support the shows. And it should be a really great weekend.
Yeah, I think it's like so interesting trying to think about what's going to happen in this new DCI all age environment that we're coming into next year. Um, like I think it's so crazy just that these DCA groups, they're not going to have DCI members anymore, because I'm so accustomed to people coming off of DCI tour and filling in the last couple weekends of the season at DCA. So
Yeah.
in a way, it's kind of going to level the playing field even further, because it's not just going to be like the biggest cores getting to fill out with a bunch of DCI folks. Everyone's going to just have to stick to who they have all summer long and just do the best that they can, with even admittedly like less weekends to do
Do
it
you
with.
think that other DCI cores are going to start all age groups because of this?
Ooh, that's a really good question, Jackie. I don't know. I think it's going to take a little while for DCI cores to kind of see the lay of the field and see if they can actually kind of grow and 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 provide that kind of culture of providing an all age core or some type of legacy core. I know that this past DCI Championships weekend featured the DCI Troopers Legacy Core, and they did a
Yeah.
really good job at their semifinals performance, and there was a lot of interest around that group. And traditionally at DCI finals, you've seen like groups like that, um, or Star of Indiana have alumni performances. Blue Coats had a huge alumni performance 2 years ago, and so I think the interest is out there. I think those DCI cores have to just really provide that fertile ground and that support in order for that to happen. I guess time would tell.
I think it's so cool because I would love to exist in the future where all these cores that are regularly competing in DCI have their alumni core, which is all age. maybe it just shows up for the last 7 days of the season. Everybody flies out to Indy, treats it like a band camp with the competition at the end of it. But like, I feel like you could figure out ways to do like a very minimal time commitment version of like getting the show together full of alumni, and just like people that already marched get to go compete.
I mean, we did just talk to the troopers about this last week on our show, so.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Steven, what do you got this week?
I have sad news, actually. Pulse
No.
Percussion has announced that they will not advance any further on America's Got Talent, despite having received all yeses from the judges in their appearance on the show.
What?
Oh, no.
Yes. So I have two things for this one. On one hand, I could see how maybe it was their own decision, because it seems like a logistical nightmare. My understanding is that they all were able to like do an extra third block on Sunday evenings, people that were going to be involved in the America's Got Talent audition, and then the actual audition itself was still during the WGI season. So if the next shooting date for the next level of competition was going to be like during the summer, most of these people are probably marching. It might have been practically impossible to put together an ensemble anyway. But I've also heard people say that just because you get 4 yeses on the show doesn't mean that America's Got Talent producers are actually going to like bring you into the next round. I've heard that the behind the scenes of that is a little bit more fuzzy, and they do a lot of picking and choosing what the next level of contest is going to be. So I don't know who made the decision. All I know is I'm sad about it. Would have loved to see them go out there and do it again.
Same.
You know, it's sad that they chose, not to advance, but like, can we just give another round of props to like Pulse Percussion, their members and their staff and their supporters for getting that far and for getting that notoriety and what that does for like the marching arts programs around the country, like shining that light on them. Congratulations and thank you to those performers and those staff and those designers of that ensemble and what you did for the activity, for sure.
It's probably the biggest public eye on Drumline since Drumline the movie, if I had to guess. I just can't imagine another context in which an indoor drumline would have been like seen nationally by non-band people.
That's a good point. Props to Nick Cannon. Shout out
to Nick Cannon. Yeah.
Pulse Percussion picking it up. Challenging for bass drum 5 spot.
That would be incredible. That's why we need DCI all age. But Absolutely. Jackie, I think you have our next story.
Yeah, and it's a pretty solid eye on bands over here. It's the 2023 PepsiCo National Battle of the Bands. This competition was on Saturday, August 26th, and my news story needs to reload because apparently my page died. So the Human Jukebox from Southern University won the HBCU Legends, and they tied with Texas Southern, the Ocean of Soul. And then third place was Tennessee State, the Aristocrat of Bands. Fourth place, Langston University, Marching Pride. I feel like there have been so many more news stories about these HBCU, these huge HBCU competitions that occur versus like what I would consider the more popular style of band in our part of the country. And no, the show bands, though, they are out there, they are putting in the work, and they are absolutely killing it. So I love to see this. And they're getting the sponsorships. I mean, this is sponsored by Pepsi.
Yeah, we have another story coming up in a minute here, but it's the same. It's barking up the same tree. Big show band competitions.
I've been to a couple of the HBCU shows and competitions. It is bando. Like it is in the same vein as a typical BOA show, as a WGI show. People were excited to be there. They're buying the merchandise. They're buying the audio recording, the posters, and the drumsticks, and supporting these groups that are selling out huge stadiums. Whether they're in Houston or Atlanta or Tennessee, they're selling 25, 35,000 tickets to like each one of these events, and people are
Wow.
showing up early season to watch these amazing groups throw down and compete against each other, and it's such a amazing spectacle. So congratulations to all those groups for sure.
Can I say what I think it is about this that attracts so many more people? Okay, so looking through like how these show bands are judged, it is so different than how like DCI is judged and how BOA is judged. There is an actual element of like they go through these different categories of they judge how you enter. They judge your transitions. They judge your presentation, your showmanship. They have like they judge literally the cover downs of your drill. There's like judging on the technique of how you do things, and there's actually like standards of those that are set to meet and exceed. And it's like I feel like they're the way that they look at both the technique and the precision and the artistry and combine it and judge both of those things. I think that's the direction that we all need to go. I feel like that's how gymnastics does it. That's how ice skating does it. You get judged on your artistry and you get judged on your technique. And I feel like we just don't do that in DCI or BOA.
Preach. Snaps, coffee snaps.
So, are you thinking that DCI should be more interested in judging like how groups carry themselves as they like enter and exit, and like the whole experience of it in that regard, compared to where they kind of are like evaluating at a very technical level today?
I think it's got to be more of a combination of both. You know, we kind of look at vocabulary, we look at excellence. A lot of times we're like, okay, here's your vocabulary, here's your excellence. But there's not like a set of like there's no standard that specifically says this is like an excellent group that does this. And like there is our box system and that sort of thing. But the box system is so open-ended, you know, and it's so subjective, I guess.
Yeah.
That there's nothing objective. You know, you go to ice skating and you have this like specific, you're going to get this many points for doing a jump with this many turns in it. You know what I mean? And so there's more of like there's more objectivity to it. I don't know. That's my soapbox. Trevor, you have our next story if you want to jump on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So this next story comes from my old stomping grounds out of Alabama, provided to us by the staff over at WALA out of Mobile, Alabama. So, guys, there's some great news, a great story out of Mobile for the University of South Alabama's Jaguar Marching Band. They will soon have a new home on campus. So get this, the university is unveiling plans to construct an innovative band complex to provide a permanent home for the marching band. Oh my gosh, such great news when another marching band around the country gets great facilities. They said a VIP reception will be held next week at the Hargrove Club at Hancock Whitney Stadium to formally announce construction of the new on-campus facility for this amazing program. Speakers will include the South Alabama's president, Joe Bonner, executive vice president, provost, Dr. Andy Kent, and the Jaguar Marching Band director, Dr. Will Peterson. Will's a great human being. Had the opportunity to meet him a couple times. It's great that he'll be getting this new facility for his program. The band will perform a 7-minute halftime show, playing selections from the last 60 years of the University of South Alabama Band. The band is also, great news, celebrating its 60th anniversary this year. So that's a nice little anniversary present. The Jaguar Band complex will encompass 24,700 square feet of space. That's huge. And construction will be completed by the fall of 2026. They have to wait a little while, but the wait will definitely be worth it, I would imagine. The estimated cost of this new facility for the Jaguar Band will be $7.5 million. Great to
Oh.
see that the state and the university is investing in the arts, in the marching arts. That's a great thing for the folks who have chosen to dedicate their lives to the marching arts and to performing arts. The facility will house a full ensemble rehearsal hall, a drumline rehearsal studio, a color.
Hey.
Yeah, Whitney and Jackie will have a color guard rehearsal studio. It will have dressing rooms for the members, a music library to store all their library needs, a central storage space to hold their uniforms, their instruments, their props, and other gear. In addition, this complex will also include a full-size uh, lit practice field, identical to their stadium practice field at Abraham A. Mitchell Field at Hancock Whitney Stadium. That is so
Oh
important
my
to
gosh.
have a identical replica field as your practice field with logos and markings, and how much easier that makes the
Yeah.
performance, their halftime performances. So congratulations to the University of South Alabama Jaguar Marching Band for securing this new facility, and everyone that pitched in at every level to make sure that this happened. You can look up the story online and see the beautiful facility. It is quite gorgeous. And yeah, bravo. Congratulations, Dr. Will Peterson, director of that band. It's going to be a great facility, and I'm sure it'll attract students to that campus and make sure that they're still involved in the band program at South Alabama.
That's awesome.
Attract students. Heck, it's attracting me. If anybody from the Jaguar marching band wants someone to come out and do some social media promo of their new marching band complex, let's go. I'm ready.
Let's go.
Yeah, right. Do y'all play bass drum? Sounds like you need a correspondent. Uh,
The On a Water Break official tour. Let's go. Touring the marching band stadiums of America.
I am down. I don't need anyone to tell me to go travel. But I have another uh HBCU band story for you guys here. It's another battle of the bands. This one, in my opinion, though, is a little cooler because we've got lots of rappers involved. Um,
Oh,
yes, we've got an HBCU marching band show in Houston at NRG Stadium just occurred this last weekend, where they were also celebrating the 50th anniversary of hip hop. So they were also, alongside these different musical acts, or alongside these different HBCU marching bands, we also had rap performances from Dougie Fresh, Slim Thug, Choppa, Lil Kiki, Zero, DJ Mr. Rogers, and several more acts as part of the lineup. So they were kind of alternating back and forth between having HBCU band performances and then actual live hip hop performances at NRG Stadium for what I'm imagining was quite a large crowd. The capacity of that stadium is 72,000. So they probably filled it out with at least a good 20 to 30 on one side of the stadium, I would bet. But I think that's awesome because I don't ever see like marching band music, any of that kind of marching arts go and like actually interact and kind of blend into the regular music scene out there. So I think it's so cool to see like this kind of blended performance that they set up.
It's really cool. I mean, I love Dougie Fresh, and, and my mom loves Dougie Fresh. So like,
Nice.
it's great to see like, students engaging with performers that they listen to.
Yeah.
That's like when you really get kids like bought in. Like we ask our kids all the time, "Hey, what tunes are you listening to? What tunes do you want to play?" Or ask like the athletes, like if you're part of an athletic band, "Hey, what tunes are you listening to, Mr. Football Captain or Mr. Basketball Captain or whatever?" And so we can like create a playlist. These students at this show in Houston get to perform with some of the folks
Yeah.
they're listening to, and how exciting is that, and how exciting it is for members of the crowd, the supporters of these HBU show band shows to go and to get the best of both worlds. So I think it's just really great.
That's
Yeah.
inspiring too.
That's kind of what they were saying when asked about it. The creative director and executive producer Derek Weber said that they are ecstatic to bring together the vibrant energy of HBCU bands with hip hop pioneers, creating a unique synergy that honors the past while fueling the future. Which I
Oh, I
think
love
is,
that.
yeah, really cool. Also, just in case you already didn't like it enough, it also raised money to provide for scholarships. So,
Yes.
incredible event that they put together. They should do it every year, not just on the 50th anniversary. They should just keep on doing it.
Yeah, the closest thing I've ever heard of to something like this would be Contemporary Color, the David Burns, right? Uh, yeah, that was awesome. I wish I could have gone and seen it live. I have it on DVD, which is
Mm.
nice, but definitely like you can tell there was probably an incredible vibe there when all of those students got to perform next to some of their favorite musical performers, and just the inspiration that would come from like that sort of experience. Some of these kids, like you were saying, you love Dougie Fresh, that's probably their idol, some of these kids. So Whitney, what do you got for us this week?
All right. So we have the driver was sentenced for a crash that killed the Southern University band members. That happened last December 7th. And sentencing for the truck driver accused of a crash that fatally wounded members of the Southern University marching band happened after 2 emotional hours of victim impact statements in Louisiana. Clyde Gay drifted onto the interstate's northbound shoulder while traveling in his Freightliner and crashed into the vehicle, which was parked in the emergency lane. The accused had previously pleaded guilty to 3 counts of vehicular homicide. Gay was sentenced on Tuesday to 5 years in prison. 4 years of that is suspended, which I feel like maybe isn't long enough. You killed 3 people. He
Oh
was
my
credited
gosh,
with
no.
10 months time served. Gay was also ordered to surrender his commercial driver's license and is banned from ever getting his CDL reinstated. Each family is also to be paid $5,000 in restitution, which like $5,000 doesn't even cover the cost of a funeral, right? Like funerals
Yeah.
are really expensive. He will also have to pay additional fines and court costs. 3 members of the Human Jukebox were traveling back to Texas together on December 7th. The student stopped on I-49 to change a flat tire when Gay drifted into the shoulder, striking and fatally injuring Tyron Williams, Dylan Young, and Broderick Moore, all from Texas.
Well, that's pretty tragic.
Yeah.
Certainly sorry to hear that. Our condolences out to their family. Did it say if the driver was intoxicated or
I don't
were
think
they
so.
just swerving?
I think he just drifted, as they do sometimes, which is terrifying. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm sure we've all been in that situation where you're driving down the road and suddenly there's a semi like coming into your lane. It's very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 5 years is probably not enough time served.
No, that's
And
definitely not.
$5,000 a family, it's like nothing.
Nope. Well, hopefully maybe that will deter some people though from falling asleep at the wheel or anything like that, just not paying attention. Let's go out on a little more upbeat note. Let's bring our producer Jeremy back in here. What you got for us, Jeremy?
Well, I just wanted to quickly shout out. Trevor reminded me of the Southern Alabama University band that's celebrating their anniversary being 60 years, right? Southern Alabama 60 years. Well, the little band that I was talking about earlier, and this is why I like nicely tie it back in. The little band that I was talking about earlier, Widener University, is officially celebrating their 5 years this year that they've existed as their little, strong little South part of Mid-Atlantic Band. Really proud of them, and it's really exciting. We're having an alumni band for the first time, which is sort of crazy for homecoming. So I'm super excited to like put that all together. And like for anybody out there that has a college band, get that alumni band involved at homecoming. It's so important. It's so helpful to get the alumni to come back and help with like money and like just any sort of little thing is great if you could get that alumni back. That's just like a really important thing. And one of the things that we're doing, I just wanted to mention this, is that we're having them march together in a show. And so when you do that, the smart way to do that is to teach our band is learning all the drill pages, and then the alumni band's just going to kind of stand there. We'll move around them. So we actually are able to put sort of together a little mini show
Oh, I
sort of
love
quickly.
that.
Really quickly and simply just in a couple of hours. So if you are in a college band, support it from an alumni standpoint. If you like don't have an alumni band with your college band, make sure you really start it. But shout out to Widener for 5 years of like little amazingness. So they're just coming into their own, just starting to walk, as they would say, as the little toddler that they are. So
Congrats on 5 years. That's a big deal. Congratulations. Happy anniversary.
All right, everyone. Thanks for a great rehearsal this week. Thank you so much to our hosts, Stephen, Whitney, and Trevor. Jeremy, thanks for jumping in on this one for us. Thank you to Trish for keeping us up on DCA, and congratulations to all of you who were participating this year. Everybody go subscribe to our podcast, write us a review, and share this with a friend. Make sure you follow us on social media at On a Water Break, and we'll see you at the next rehearsal on a water break.
Go practice.